Hey guys, welcome. Yeah, so in this video and the next, I'm going to teach you how to find the angle between two vectors. In this video, we're going to do it in 2 dimensions, and in the next video, we're going to do it in 3 dimensions. Anytime you need to find the angle between two vectors, you should immediately write down this dot product equation. And for students who really like formulas, you could actually solve this equation for alpha and write this equivalent equation. And so maybe for students who really like formulas, you might want to just start with this, but I suggest that actually you start with this here. And yeah, they're equivalent, so you'll get to the same place. But yeah, I think this is like a natural place to start every time you're doing these problems. Write down this formula, and then I'll show you with an example what you ought to do. All right, now first is on this left-hand side, calculate u dot v using the first method that we learned, which is by multiplying corresponding components and then adding the results. So we can find u dot v here by multiplying corresponding components and adding them together. So the left-hand side looks like this. But alternatively, we can find u dot v by this right-hand side, right? And so what we don't know on the right-hand side is alpha, which is the angle between the two vectors, and yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. So yeah, but from the component form of the two vectors, we can find their lengths, right? We learned how to do that in the video on the norm or the magnitude of a vector. But yeah, you just square each of the components and then add them and take the square root. And if you do that, you find that the length of u is 4 and the length of v is root 10. So I've got these two guys, and the only unknown is cosine alpha, and therefore the only unknown is alpha, right? And so what I'm going to do here on the left side is do the multiplication, and I get, and then addition, and I get negative 12 because I've got negative 12 plus 0. And so my next equation is going to say negative 12 is equal to 4 root 10 times cosine alpha, and I can divide on both sides by 4 root 10 on both sides of this last equation to get this, and I can simplify this a little bit more and write this, and at this point I take cosine inverse of both sides, and so alpha is cosine inverse of negative 3 divided by root 10, and no one knows how to do that without a calculator. And if you punch this into your calculator, then you get this, and this answer makes sense. Draw the two vectors and see why it makes sense. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah? Okay, cool. Alright, this is it for this video, and the next video will be doing this, but in 3 dimensions with an interesting example. So look out for that. Keep watching. Take care.